Guys, if you can stand my gravelly voice here for just a couple of minutes, I want to tell you about the meeting for Prosperity Through Real Estate next Tuesday. And I hope you can all be there. So, what we're going to talk about is the equity holding trust transfer. I know some of you may be familiar with that, others are not. But there's been so much that's taken place in the last year that I think you'll find this an extremely interesting as well as profitable evening. So come on out and let's talk. The safest, most legally protective vehicle ever for eliminating the prohibitive regulation dangers and the risks and pitfalls of seller carry or owner finance minimum down, no bank qualifying real estate, uh, uh, incorporates using the system as the new and safe and best way to do lease options, lease purchases, equity shares, contracts for deeds, wraparound mortgage, partnerships, fractional ownership, as in time sharing and that sort of thing. So I think you'll find it not only extremely interesting, but also very useful and profitable for you. So I want to thank you for your time and in the process of inviting you to the Prosperity Through Real Estate meeting, which, as you know, is at Culver City Doubletree Inn at about 6 o'clock to 9 p.m. We might go it a little bit earlier. And that's Tuesday, December 6th, 2016. So think about this for a second. If we could eliminate the Dodd-Frank Act or um, the Consumer Financial Protection Act that prevents seller financing and so forth, or tries to, and the Garn-St. Germain Act, which has to do with the due on sale clause in most loans, if those two acts didn't exist, and all of the prohibitions, dangers, and doubt and risk could be eliminated regarding owner financing, then how would you feel about seller-assisted or owner-financed real estate acquisition? I think your attitude would change significantly. Just know that what we talk about when we talk about the equity holding trust transfer is not another way to do something. It's the only way to do everything. In other words, what that means is whether it's a lease option, equity share, or contract for deed, this is the way to do it. So the shortcomings and pitfalls of legislative disincentives of owner carry real estate acquisition is what we're trying to get rid of. That's what we want to mitigate or completely eliminate for the sake of our privacy and safety and asset protection is in place. We want to eliminate compromising the Dodd-Frank Act every time we want to do a seller finance. We want to avoid violating a lender's due on sale clause every time we want to take over an existing loan and are prohibited from doing so because we don't understand that the due on sale clause doesn't pertain to properties held in trust, and that's exactly what we do. We want to avoid violation of the executory contract prohibitions in some states, like Texas, for example. We want to avoid needing to deal with untoward or illegal, deceitful acts of tenant buyers. In other words, we don't want to have to face the inability to evict someone if we have them in a property as a tenant buyer uh, that would seek to prolong the eviction process by claiming equity in the property to forestall a full foreclosure action. What happens is, and why they do that is to force the landlord to leave them in the property with no payment for rent while the landlord gets sued and has to, after months sometimes, has to settle out of court in order to stop the extortion, the legal abuse, if you will. So let's talk about how to be in this business of ours without needing to worry about any of these things. How to be in the creative financing, creative real estate acquisition business without needing to be stopped every time we turn around by some new legislation or some new risk or danger. A tiny bit of what we can do that you can't, which is important for you to know, uh, is that you can't do what we do simply because you don't know how yet. We'd be happy to teach you, train you, and coach if we don't want to. That's the privacy issue. Think about bundle of rights: use, occupancy, possession, water rights, mineral rights, tax tax benefits and so on, the right to sell, not sell, leave the property vacant, rent it out, lease it out, do whatever we want. That's the bundle of rights. Now, what we want to show you how to do is to give somebody the bundle of rights in real estate ownership without giving them the ownership. In other words, we can put them in a title holding trust and let them lease the property on a triple net basis. They get 100% of all the benefits of ownership without having to be on the loan, without having to be on the title. It's incredible. And it's thanks to the IRS and the IRS regulations that allow us to do that. By the way, and if you're one of those who like to look things up, it's Revenue Ruling 163. No, it's not. It's Revenue Ruling 92-105. I get my rulings mixed up here sometimes. We can permanently protect anyone's real estate from judgment creditors, the IRS, suit-hungry lawyers, and anyone else who'd like to get a piece of it. We can convey 100% of any property's ownership benefits, including tax deduction, to any acquiring party without them ever needing to be on the loan or on the title. We can convey all the fee simple benefits of ownership without constituting a sale, a loan of money, a credit transaction, or a mortgage, or even a deed transfer. That's why the Dodd-Frank Act doesn't involve us in what we do. We can compensate for anybody's lack of upfront money by adding on monthly contributions to a contingency fund, and that money can be used as needed in the future for a down payment or be set aside for a release, all or in part at some future date. We can legitimately bypass the burden of lender seasoning requirements for investors for a quick resale. Investors whose buyers can simply lease for a little while the property is in a trust, while they get full ownership benefits, and then wait until the problem is gone or wait until the seasoning requirements have been met, then go ahead and finance the property regularly. We can provide simple, non-qualifying bridge funding for anybody as on the same issue, but as somebody who comes in without a down payment or without being able to qualify for a loan, we can put them in an equity holding trust transfer, and they can qualify for down payment later or come up with credit qualifying later if they want to. But in the meantime, they still get the same benefits they would have gotten if they made a down payment and qualified for a loan without any negative connotations at all. We can provide the same simple bridge funding arrangement for someone who has great credit but not enough money for the down, or someone who has a great down payment but can't qualify for the credit. So we can go both ways, as they say. Some people say, I guess. We can facilitate this is interesting to real estate agents especially, we can put together a home buyer loan, first time home buyer loan for a buyer looking for traditional financing in order to buy the house that they've lived in for years with all the benefits of ownership all the time they've been there. Still get a first time home buyer loan. Real estate agents can give full commissions on less than saleable over-encumbered properties. Over-encumbered properties are a great bargain if you understand how to capitalize on them without having to take responsibility for them, and that's what we can teach you. We can provide lease options and lease purchases and straight rentals with full income tax benefits to our tenants because we understand the function of the title holding trust arrangement. We can increase our rental income while providing the tenant with much lower after-tax rental outgo, while we, by virtue of the interest and property tax deduction, can greatly increase our rental income. Seriously, folks, if all this doesn't sound too good to be true, really, you could very well be in a goofy mood or maybe just dead. Although they probably said the same thing about the chia pet in the beginning, and who or whom, as it were, today would ever leave home without the chia pet. So nonetheless, the inexorable fact is, whatever inexorable means, is that it is all good, all true, and truly revolutionary. And it's safe, and it's legal, and it's well tested. It's well vetted by lenders and lawyers and the IRS and dozens of know-it-all brothers-in-law. It's as solid as they say, a tungsten bowling ball without the holes. So again, guys, thanks for your time. I'm looking forward to seeing you December 6th, 2016 at the Prosperity Through Real Estate meeting, 6 to 9 p.m., Culver City, Doubletree Inn. And we'll have a good time, and you're going to learn a bunch. Don't miss it.